Just curious on stimulus, first, that we now have this relief package. How much of a beneficiary do you think you'll be, and were you last time, now that we're going to see more checks go out to Americans and unemployment top-ups?
Yeah, look, I think the consumer, fortunately, has stayed positive in their spending as it pertains to restaurants, especially for off-premise occasions. And so, I think the additional stimulus was needed, and I think it's going to be very beneficial to our respective industry.
It's strange to hear you talk about the strong consumer and the stock being up 70% when so many restaurants in this country, independent restaurants, are closing for good and continue to close and are in desperate need of help. How do you see the restaurant picture ultimately shaping up next year, given some of these huge changes? Are you just taking share?
Look, I think the good news is our industry probably is filled with so many entrepreneurs that have had starts and stops. Obviously, it's terrible to see some of these independent restaurants close due to issues totally out of their control. But I think it's a resilient entrepreneur that will be back, and it's going to be a tough couple of months ahead. But I'm confident in that entrepreneurial spirit. Fortunately for Chipotle, we've been able to navigate through this pandemic because of the strength in our digital business.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about your digital business, the so-called Chipotlanes, Brian. It's Scott. It's nice to see you again. Welcome back. Is that a permanent thing, even on the other side of the pandemic, once you have a vaccine widely rolled out?
Yeah, it will be. It's another access point that we were working on before the pandemic. And obviously, the ability for people to order in the app, pick their pickup time, and be able to grab their food without getting out of their car is something that, we're calling the digital drive-thru of the future. It's been proving to be very effective during the pandemic, and it's a consumer need that I think is going to exist after the pandemic. But I also believe, those access points around our digital system where you order ahead and pick up, whether you do it in your car or you come into a restaurant, grab and go, I think that combined with our dining rooms coming back is what really sets Chipotle apart and makes me very optimistic about, 2021 and beyond.
Yeah, as it relates to the vaccine, are you going to require your employees to be vaccinated? And how are you thinking about that issue?
Yeah, look, this is a topic we've been discussing a whole bunch because it falls right in the realm of making sure that we've got the best wellness programs available for our employees. As of right now, we are not going to mandate it. We're going to strongly encourage it. We'll cover any of the costs associated with getting access to it, as well as the ability to get a vaccine. But we are not going to mandate it. We are going to strongly encourage it.
I know you talked about Chipotlane, but what about these digital-only restaurants that you were telling us about, that you were starting to experiment with, the sort of ghost kitchens, as they're called? How's that going, and are plans changing in terms of the scale for you of those kind of businesses now that we are getting to the other side with a vaccine?
Yeah, look, the digital kitchen that we just opened in upstate New York, just outside of the military academy, West Point, was in the works well before the pandemic. And we view it as an alternative format. We'll continue to build regular Chipotles with Chipotlanes. We'll do digital kitchens. We'll do Chipotlane only. We want to figure out how we can get the right asset execution into the trade area so that we can give the most people possible access to Chipotle. So we've got one digital kitchen up and running. It's off to a really good start. We plan to continue to use the format where it makes sense. And then the thing that's great is it's another tool in our portfolio to give Chipotle the ability to build 5,000, 6,000 restaurants across the United States.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.